Hi, I'm Tyler Johnson with Prosperity Home Mortgage. It's great to meet you. Typically, when we're meeting for the first time in person, I'm going to be in your real estate office. I'm going to be with your broker manager, your real estate CEO to introduce our Premier Agent Partnership. What that means is our virtual mortgage experience. If you don't know who Prosperity is, then let me give you a little background, high level, in terms of who we are. We're part of your family. We're part of the same home services network, Berkshire Hathaway affiliate, and part of, similar to you, the largest real estate company in the country. What makes us unique, however, is that we work exclusively for our real estate brands and only our real estate brands. So we're the largest lender that a lot of people have never heard of because of the fact that we have that exclusivity with our real estate brands. The reason why you may not have heard of us in the past is because you've had an underserved market in terms of mortgage opportunity that's available to you. So that's what I'm going to be introducing today. That's what I want to be explaining is how we're going to work for you, work harder for you to give you a competitive advantage in the market, leveraging our size, our scale, our technology to give you that competitive advantage. So thank you for watching the video. I'm sorry I'm not there in person. I look forward to meeting you, talking with you, seeing you eventually. But for today, please ask any questions that you've got afterward. I'm going to be sure to address those, and hopefully we'll be able to touch on absolutely everything that you're thinking or that you're going to be thinking as we go. I know it's a little different with the video, but I appreciate the patience, and let's roll. So the obvious question is, what's a virtual mortgage experience? Well, let me explain. That means that we've got loan officers that are dedicated to your business, to your market, to your brand, that aren't physically located in your market. Instead, they're located in our corporate office in Chantilly, Virginia. So even though they're not there physically present, they're actually able to provide better service because we understand that business gets done nights and weekends. It's not a 9-to-5 call center type of a gig. And the difference is that when you look back, think back at your last 3 or 4 transactions, the customers meeting with loan officers locally, it generally doesn't happen. What actually happens is a phone call for an application. The loan officer then passes the customer off to their processor, to their assistant. And then now the customer is working with multiple people throughout a very complicated process. And the loan officer locally is working on marketing themselves to get that next application, get that customer in the door, hand them off, move on, find another customer, develop those relationships, and go forward. Our structure is different because we're not there marketing to anybody else other than our agents and making it available to you in terms of what we can do for you. And our process, our framework, everything is built on that virtual experience, our technology, which we'll get into. And we're going to be able to provide a much better experience than a lender who is meant to be face-to-face but doesn't have the framework or the structure to be able to support that in the same capacity we do. In addition, that structure allows us to do things that other competitors can't. And more importantly, what that means is that we're giving back a lot of those benefits, a lot of the cost savings that we have to the customer in terms of rates, pricing, and incentives that are going to make us the best deal in town without sacrificing quality or service. So right now we're a couple minutes in and you're thinking, who is this guy and what kind of credibility does he have? Well, the jury's still out on that, but let me give you a little background about myself. This is a new role for me. I've been doing this since we started it about 9 months ago, excuse me, and since then we've rolled it out to 6 different brands, over 35 offices, over 600 agents that are part of this program. But prior to that, I was actually in charge of running our operations, so processing, closing, underwriting. The second that loan officer submitted that loan into operations, underwriting through closing and sale of the loan to our investors, that was what I was responsible for. That's my expertise. That's what I've been doing. That's what I enjoy doing. And so being on the sales side, on the customer facing side, I like to joke that they finally let me out from behind the curtains. But anyways, I tell you that because that is the foundation for how we do business. And we'll talk about the specifics, but knowing what works best for the customer experience, what doesn't work best, that's how we've designed this process, and really it's centered around communication, transparency, and setting the appropriate expectations. It's really simple when you understand that, but our process is designed based off of that experience. Prior to that, I was actually working for an appraisal management company as well as Wells Fargo, specifically focused on collateral. I had my appraiser license. Collateral is what got me into the business, and something that I'm still really passionate about, even though I don't get to review appraisals anymore. If anyone ever wants to go deep on appraisals, I'm your guy. It's kind of weird, I know, but that's a little bit about me. So let's get into the actual process and what we're going to do for you. So the consistent theme throughout the video is how we can work for you, how we can help you grow your business and be really an asset or an advocate for you on your behalf. And it starts with building your brand and making sure that people are aware of you and that we're helping you to market yourself. Now, a lot of agents, when I'm working with them and talking with them, they might be really good at certain areas of promoting themselves, but then there's other facets, other pieces that they can use some help with. So maybe it's social media, maybe it's having a presence, maybe it's marketing properties a little better or a little more broadly. We've got so many different tools that are available to you and that we'll follow up with to get deeper into that are available to you free of charge, that we're going to help you really focus on building your business, whether it's co-marketing pieces, whether it's listings, flyers, social media presence, like I mentioned, you name it, we've got it. We also have an awesome app for your phone, a mobile app, and you take this for granted, but the reality is that a lot of our competitors don't have this. This is a great tool for you to stay in touch with your customers and know when they're shopping and when to follow up. So this app would be something on your phone, and then when a customer is shopping or interested, going through that process, looking at a loan calculator, trying to figure out how much they qualify for, all available on there, you're going to get notifications and little ticklers that allows you to then have really timely follow-up. What I've seen, what I've heard in the market is that, a lot of times customers are really excited about getting the process started, and they're really excited for 24, 48 hours, and then they go dark. Well, it's hard to follow up and know when to follow up, but this tool, this app on the phone is a great way to allow you to maintain contact with the customer and understand when to follow up with them. This application also serves as a great way to understand where the process is at once an application is started and they've actually gone through that financing process. You don't want to ask questions about where the process is at, what's expected. Instead, we take a proactive approach to push those communications, those notifications to you, to the customer in an app on their phone so that they don't have to question or guess or have anxiety about what is or isn't happening. Instead, the transparency, those proactive communications, notifications through our application on the phone is really cool. And if it's not available to you through another lender today, it should be, because people take that for granted. So it's not something that's above and beyond, but it should be just a really common, an expectation, basic expectation. That's something that's available to you today, and we'll send some more information on that shortly. For most consumers, they probably believe that the mortgage process is the mortgage process wherever they go. Lender A, lender B, it's going to be the same, and ultimately what that difference is going to be the relationship of the person that you're working with. Well, that relationship and that individual is absolutely key, but the reality is that there are a lot of fundamental differences between every single lender that's going to allow for a better experience, and a lot of it is structural. So I'm going to go a little deep here in terms of the main components of the process, what we do different, and what that means to you. So let's start with the pre-approval process. If I look at a pre-approval, or if I look at a customer that's getting pre-qualified, I consider a pre-approval in the market, and correct me if I'm wrong here, as a form of currency. You know which lenders have solid pre-approvals, which ones aren't worth the paper that they're written on. And the reality is that as an agent, you want to protect your business by protecting your time, by working with customers that are qualified, that are going to be able to go through the process with the least amount of surprises possible. Now, there's always going to be surprises. There's always going to be things that come up. We're great at responding to it, but the foundation for qualifying a customer is going to make things a lot easier. And we don't subscribe to hope being a strategy. A lot of other lenders, a lot of our competitors rely on hope as a strategy. And what I mean by that is that they're hoping that everything works out, and that by giving a pre-qual or pre-approval letter, that's a hook for the customer where they don't want the customer to go shopping anywhere else. And so they're going to give them that pre-approval based off of what the customer's telling them that they make, which is probably more than they actually do, or based off of the amount of debt or assets that they actually have, which is probably higher or lower than it actually is, and being able to say, you know what, we're going to deal with that when we have to deal with it, but right now, go shopping, and then let's hope that everything goes through the process seamlessly. That's not how we do business. We're going to do a really good job of qualifying the customers up front. That doesn't mean that we can't be quick. We're going to be able to be quick when we need to and be able to react, but if we have the opportunity to pre-qual a customer, what I would recommend, and one of the things that we do that's really unique to us, is that we will actually fully credit underwrite customers before they find a property. So if you've got a customer that's coming to you and saying, I want to get started on this process, you shouldn't be taking any time to show them properties until you know that they're qualified and that they're going to actually be worth that investment of your time. What is a better way to protect that investment than to make sure that they're fully credit underwritten without a property? We'll actually issue a commitment letter for the customer so that when they're shopping, especially in tight inventory markets, multiple offer situations, you can make an offer on a deal with a customer that's fully credit approved, no surprises outside of appraisal, title, insurance. That's going to set you apart. So that's one of the big things that we're able to do. One of the really easy ways to make sure that we're protecting that investment of your time by doing a great job of qualifying customers. Now, we'll be able to be quick too, and that level of certainty is going to come with how quick we need to be, just like any other lender. The customer is giving us information and we need to move quickly, we'll do that, but it's going to be as good as what the customer offers in terms of that information and what's available, just like any other lender. But if we've got the time to do that, that pre-approval, fully robust credit underwritten pre-approval is really something that's going to stand out, especially in markets like we've got today with the tight inventory, multiple offers, whatnot. We talked about pre-approving the customer, qualifying them. That's really important. The other really important piece, once we've done that, is the credit underwriting portion of the process. This is the scariest part to a lot of customers, to a lot of agents, and rightfully so, because not every lender is created equal. Not because they don't want to be, but because of the structure and how they do business, how they sell their loans. That's what dictates their credit philosophy in a lot of cases. And what I mean by that is that we, Prosperity Home Mortgage, are able to interpret what the investor guidelines are, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, for that customer, which means we've got a lot more latitude to be able to make common sense decisions based off of the credit profile, because we're interpreting the guidelines directly. And I say that because we're selling our loans directly to the government secured entities, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. So all of those loans, a majority of our business, we're selling directly to the investor, which means we've got full latitude to make good business decisions, understand the credit profile, look at all the different compensating factors and say, this is a good business decision. The customer has the ability to repay and be able to move forward. Now that's different. Even though you might think that everyone is taking that same approach, well, the reality is that a lot of other banks, a lot of regional banks, credit unions, smaller banks, when they're underwriting a loan, they're actually underwriting it to multiple different investors' interpretations of those guidelines that we're underwriting directly to. And what I mean by that is that they're not selling directly to the agencies. It's more costly to do that. And so what they're doing is that they're packaging up those loans when they're originating them, and they're going to be selling them to one of maybe 2 or 3 different investors. And so their credit underwriting process is going to be looking at all 3 of those investors, saying, I don't know who I'm going to have to sell this to or be able to sell it to. So to play it safe, I'm going to underwrite to the lowest common denominator of all 3 interpretations of Fannie Mae guidelines. We cut out the middlemen when it comes to that, and gives us so much more flexibility to make good common sense decisions for the customers and be able to move much quicker, because we're not over conditioning, trying to check the boxes of multiple people's interpretations of what those credit underwriting guidelines should be. That is really key, and credit underwriting is kind of a boring topic. It puts a lot of people to sleep, but understanding how that works allows us to do so much more in such a shorter time period, and more importantly, make that process easy for the customer, because we're only asking for the minimum documentation that's required to be able to move forward. The other piece that's really cool is our technology when it comes to credit underwriting. So we're an elite company in terms of our ability to leverage technology for customers to make this process really simple. We've got a program, Accelerate, which is comparable to Rocket Mortgage. Now, what that means is that we've got that same technology that allows customers to link their bank accounts, their assets directly to our system, so that in a lot of cases, we might not need to ask for any documentation as it relates to income, employment, assets, because we're able to connect directly, securely to their accounts to be able to verify that without having to ask for them to dig out information, scan it to us, fax it to us, email it to us, whatever that is, and make it really seamless. There are a handful of lenders that have access to that across the country. We're one of those because of how important we are to the investors, to the agencies that are purchasing those loans because of our size, and we're giving you back that service, that experience, that efficiency in how we underwrite our customers, which ultimately comes down to a much more seamless, easier process that you're not going to experience anywhere else. We just got done talking about credit underwriting and talking about our size, our speed, our ability to leverage our investor relationships directly, and the awesome technology that we have. So these are generally things that are reserved for large national retail lenders, which is great, but I don't want there to be any misconception that we fall in that same bucket, because the difference is that we've got all of the products, all of the pricing, all of the technology, better technology than a lot of the national lenders. But what separates us is that we've got that level of customer service that they don't have. And so we are working directly for you. I'm going to be behind you 100% of the way. Our loan officer, who I'll be introducing to you, dedicated to your market, is part of my team. And when it comes to escalations, questions, anything like that, we're a phone call away. And that's how we've been built in terms of our company organization. It's very flat, very focused on that customer service, and everyone's a phone call away. My boss, Tim Wilson, our CEO, our president of the mortgage company, he's one phone call away, and everyone else subscribes to that same philosophy where we're built for speed, we're built for escalation, and so it's not going to be something where the second that we submit that application, you don't know who to contact or how that is going to be facilitated. We've got that local market feel. We're right in between a national lender in terms of all of the great things that come with it, pricing, products, technology, but also in between that customer service, that local feel that you're going to get from a credit union or a local bank. We're right in the middle there, and that's really important. One of the other reasons why we're able to say that confidently is because we do things a little different than the national lenders when it comes to collateral. And when I talk about collateral, I'm talking about the appraisal process. And this is something that is so integral to the success of the process, the speed of the process, the experience, because really the appraiser might be one of two people outside of the real estate agent that's having direct contact with the customers or the sellers or whoever. And even though they're a third party, they are considered to be part of the process. No one notices the difference. And so it's really important that we've got quality appraisers that are representing us, that are representing you, that understand the market. And what we've done is we've actually taken out the middleman again. This is a common theme of the appraisal management companies, and we hire our appraisers directly in the market based off of your feedback. Who has that demonstrated experience, that demonstrated performance? We're going to reach out to them directly. We're going to have them join our panel, and we're going to pay them full fee, top dollar in the market to be able to provide us with that quality product. What you're going to see with a lot of other national lenders, a lot of other big banks, is that they're going to essentially broker that out to an appraisal management company, a third party, that is then going to take 20% maybe of the appraisal fee, and they're going to assign that loan to one of the appraisers on their panel that are going to be driving an excessive distance, not necessarily from your market, taking a reduced fee, and having less control over the process because it's more convenient. We invest heavily in that compliance, that QC, that structure to be able to do this in a way to have our own panels, work with appraisers directly, and get the best quality appraisers in your market that understand your neighborhood, understand the influences, and are going to be able to provide that quality product. Appraisers love working for us because we don't take a cut of the appraisal fee. We pay them full fee because we know that that's what it's going to take the top quality appraisers that want to work for us, and appraisers love working for us. So one of the things that I'm going to ask of you is a list of appraisers in your market. Who are those quality appraisers? Who are the appraisers that have that demonstrated ability? We're going to reach out to them. We're going to have them join our panel and pay them top dollar full fee so that we can ensure that we've got the best service, the best quality, and that we're really important to them. And in turn, we're getting that response back from the appraisers themselves. So think about that. Let me know who those appraisers are so that we can get after it and start building our panel. but that is such a key piece, a key ingredient to the process. Just because you're licensed in a state doesn't mean that you should be driving multiple hundreds of miles or from different counties over to appraise a home in your local market when we've got the quality appraisers there. You know who they are. Let me know who they are. We'll get them. We'll add them to our panel. And that's going to be a huge piece for us to be able to move really quickly, really fast, with a lot of certainty in that piece of the process. I appreciate your patience sticking with me. If I haven't lost you already, we're probably on the verge of it. So we're going to wrap this up, and I'm going to touch on and end with a lot of the incentives, a lot of the things that are immediately available to you, to your customers, as a result of this partnership. One of the things, first and foremost, is we're going to get the customer the best deal in town, guaranteed every single time. We're so confident in that we're going to give the customer a $10,000 gift card if we can't match or beat any competitor's offer for rate in any existing loans that they have. That means we're going to save the customer thousands of dollars over the life of the loan, and if we can't, we'll give them a $10,000 gift card. So it's really a no-brainer. Makes you look really good to make sure that the customers are getting the best deal possible. There's going to be a flyer that I'm going to send with this video with more details, fine print there, but ultimately any conforming conventional FHA, VA loan that's out there, we're going to give the customer a better rate, save them thousands of dollars potentially over the life of the loan, and if we can't, we'll give them a $10,000 gift card. That's how confident we are, and we're able to do that because of our structure, giving back to the customers the best deal possible, making you look good, and a competitive advantage because no other real estate agent or customer in your market has access to that incentive. In addition, we're going to pay for the appraisal. This is going to be something that we'll run for the next 4 months, where we're going to pay for the appraisal. $500 typically is what the customer is going to save out of pocket that they're not going to have to pay for. Again, it's because of our structure being designed for you, for the customers, virtually being able to offer this because we're set up differently for the customer to benefit, for you to benefit. That's generally a $500 value that the customers aren't going to have to pay for. You know, in terms of VA loans, we love our veterans. We never charge origination fees. That's not an incentive. That's not something that is going to be having a shelf life of 3 months, 6 months. That is just how we do business. We will not charge origination fees on veterans. And one of the things that I've realized through experience over these past few months working with our veteran customers is that they assume that by going through the credit union or veteran focused banks that they're going to get the best deal possible. The reality is that we crush in the VA space in terms of our pricing, our offers, and we're going to get them the best deal possible with no origination fees, which is huge. Last thing I'm going to throw at you is our closing guarantee. So when I mentioned that full underwritten or fully credit underwritten pre-approval, we call it our buyer advantage process. If the customers go through that process, we're so confident we're going to close on time that we're going to give them $10,000, the seller $10,000, if we can't close on time. So that's a guarantee and insurance policy for the seller that we're going to close on time because we've already gone through all the heavy lifting. We've gone through that credit underwriting process. We're so confident that we're going to close on time, meet those expectations. So we'll give the seller that money if we don't close on time. So it's just an insurance policy and another great way to win deals in multiple offer situations, and no one else is doing it. It's kind of absurd when we talk about the dollar amounts that I'm throwing out there, but that's how confident we are because we've been doing it. We understand how to do it, and we're going to do it better than anyone else. So I look forward to that opportunity to show you what we can do, earn your trust, be able to demonstrate everything that I'm talking about in action, but we need that opportunity, and I look forward to earning your business. What I'm going to follow up with now is really more information on who that loan officer is going to be for you, for your market, dedicated to your business. They're part of my team. They're going to be serving you. And I can't wait to introduce them to you. I can't wait to meet you in person and then better understand, again, how we can help you grow your business. If there's something that we didn't touch on, that we didn't cover, please let me know. We'll send a follow-up video. We'll reach out to you directly. We'll get deep in any area that you want us to because it's really important that you understand how we operate, how we do business, and you'll see very quickly working with us that we're going to treat you better than anybody else, and I cannot wait for that opportunity. So thank you so much. I look forward to talking with you again soon, and have a